In 1961, President Kennedy called on all Americans to rise to the challenges of the day. He knew that success depended upon the unity of efforts throughout the federal government and the nation. In a memorandum he wrote, "I want coordination of government activities outside of Washington significantly strengthened across departments and agency lines." From this, federal executive boards were born. The Greater Boston Federal Executive Board, one of 28 across the country, fosters communication, coordination, and collaboration with federal, state, and local government agencies. It is our hope that through this series, folks will learn about the mission and work done by different agencies, what that means for our country, and more specifically, what that means to each of us as individuals. This is your federal government, and I am your host, Diane LeBlanc. Hello everyone. Today we are featuring the Small Business Administration, known to most as the SBA. The Small Business Administration is an independent agency of the federal government that was established in 1953. Its mission is to counsel, assist, and protect the interest of small business concerns, to preserve free competitive enterprise, and to maintain and strengthen the overall economy of our nation. Our guests are Bob Nelson, who is the acting New England Regional Administrator for the agency and the Massachusetts District Director, Ray Milano, who is SBA's Veteran Business Development Specialist, and Georgiana Parkin, who is the State Director for the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center Network. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here, Diane.
Bob, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
What's SBA's mission?
Well, you know, small business is such a critical part of the economy. Over half of all Americans either own or work for a small business, and small businesses have created 2/3 of the net new jobs over the last decade. So, as you mentioned, the mission of the SBA, it's to foster, preserve, and promote the interests of small business, to try to strengthen the economy. It's all about creating jobs lately. And the SBA, we're most well known for our loan programs. We provide a guarantee to the banks to provide them an incentive to make loans. And we're also very much involved with government contracting assistance and also technical assistance. We want to make sure that small businesses know what they're doing so that they can be successful.
So when you hear the term small business, that probably means different things to different people, but the federal government actually has a very specific definition of small business. Tell folks what that is.
Sure. Different state organizations and different economic development organizations, they'll use 20 employees or 50 employees. At the SBA right now we're using an alternative size standard. And if a business has a net worth of less than $15 million and average net income of less than $5 million, they're considered small by SBA size standard, and they'd be eligible for SBA assistance. So here in Massachusetts, 98% of the businesses would be eligible for our assistance.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that. And
right.
We can virtually help just about all of the businesses that are here in the Commonwealth.
And how are you organized as an agency? What does your network of offices across the country in the region look like to deliver your services?
Sure. There are 68 different field offices across the U.S. Most states represent a district unto themselves. It's only the larger states that have multiple districts, like New York or Texas or California. And so one of the things I'd like to tout is here in Massachusetts, currently we're number 4 in the country out of 68 district offices in loan approvals. So Massachusetts is known as one of the most effective SBA district offices in the country in terms of loan approvals and helping small businesses get access to capital. But you know, the SBA in Washington, we have an Office of Capital Access, we have an Office of Entrepreneurial Development, but out here in the field, we're involved with all different aspects of helping small business, from the loan programs to government contracting, trying to help them get into exporting. You know, the SBA is involved in so many different aspects of small business growth and development.
Okay. So in carrying out your mission, you work with the states. Talk about your major partners. Who are they and how do you work together?
We work with the state very closely, and what I tell people when I go out and talk to small business groups is that here in Massachusetts, the small business team, it's all in sync. We're all working together. We're all trying to pull Massachusetts out of the Great Recession that we had. And if you look at the unemployment here in Massachusetts at 6%, it just went down another 0.3%. You know, we have a great team, and when I talk about team, it's not just the SBA staff, it's the small business development centers, it's the SCORE organization, our women's center, our veterans group. But we work with all of the different chambers, all of the different economic development organizations across the Commonwealth. The SBA, we've been working in overdrive to develop relationships and collaborations with all of the different players that are out there trying to make sure that the Massachusetts economy is growing and that we're helping small businesses.
Okay. I'm going to give you a break for a minute.
Okay.
And I'm going to look to Georgiana, because you are one of the major partners. Talk a little bit about your organization and your relationship with the Small Business Administration.
The Small Business Development Center is very similar to SBA, have a national presence. All of us are collaborators with not only SBA, but the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, various chambers, banks, as well as the SBA's other resource partners. What the SBDC does, and the way we interact with SBA, is that across the state we have 6 regional offices who provide in-depth, free, confidential services to existing and startup businesses, as well as in the areas of international trade, government procurement. Everything we do, similar to what Bob had said, is to create jobs. For example, through our regional offices, we may help with a strategic plan for a business, get financing. That's all to help and create and retain jobs here. In our exporting program, we may help a company export. That's to increase their sales to help and create and retain jobs. In the government contracting arena, we help businesses secure federal or state contracts to help create and retain jobs. Our main role in collaboration with SBA and our other partners is to enhance the small business climate in Massachusetts, retain jobs, and keep business here.
Excellent. So Bob, back to you. One of your main functions is to provide financing for small business, and you talked about the tremendous success in Massachusetts with loan approval. Be a little bit more specific. What kinds of loan products do you actually provide?
Sure. The first thing that's extremely important to keep in mind is that the SBA is not actually lending the money. What we do is we provide a guarantee to the bank to give them the incentive in order to get to the yes decision and to make the loan. The SBA, there's no downward size limit on the loan. We do see some loans at $5,000, $10,000. Our loan limit actually goes up to $5 million right now. Our guarantee typically is 85% on loans of $150,000 or less, and when you go over $150,000, the SBA provides a guarantee of 75%. But we have targeted programs to try to help veterans through our Patriot Express initiative. We have a working capital program to try to drive working capital into the hands of small businesses so that they can grow and create jobs. We have exporting loan programs. But the SBA 7A guarantee program is the one that is extremely active here in Massachusetts. We have a program which is called SBA Express. Under the Express program, we give the bank a 50% guarantee. We're sharing in the risk 50-50. It's a very user-friendly, easy program for the bank and the small business.
Now, what's the maximum loan that the SBA would support?
Well, the maximum typically would be $5 million with a 75% guarantee from the SBA.
And what's the average turnaround time on loan approval?
If you look at the Express loan program, that's the one where we give the bank the 50% guarantee. Once the bank is comfortable with the loan and the credit, they submit the application to the SBA electronically and they get an instantaneous approval from the SBA as long as the loan is eligible. So when you hear stories about the SBA of years and years ago, 10, 15 years ago, where it used to take, you know, weeks or a month and a couple inches of paperwork in order to get an SBA loan, it's certainly not the way that the SBA runs right now. Most of our loan programs are extremely streamlined, user-friendly, in order to help. You know, if it wasn't easy for the banks, they wouldn't be using the program. And
yeah, you mentioned exporting a little while ago, and you know, supporting small businesses to be able to compete in a global economy, so important. How exactly does SBA specifically support exporting?
Well, the president does have an initiative to double exporting over 5 years from 2010 to 2015. When you look at exporting and you look at the global economy, 96% of the consumers live outside of the U.S. Mm-hmm. 2/3 of the economies of the world are outside of the U.S. Exporting represents a tremendous opportunity for small businesses to try to increase revenues and increase profitability. And the SBA, we have technical resource partners through the Massachusetts Export Center, and I'd like Georgiana to talk about that a little bit, because it's a phenomenal center here in Massachusetts to try to help small businesses to explore exporting as a way to increase sales and profits. But the SBA, we have 3 different loan programs which all have a 90% guarantee, again, to give the banks the incentive to try to lend to businesses that want to get into or expand exporting.
Georgiana, what would you add to that?
I would add 2 aspects. Not only does SBA support our export center financially, we also work with the SBA's export office, not only in securing financing for exporting companies, but through our Mass Export Center, we have a statewide presence, work collaboratively with the state, SBA, and local partners, and do quite a bit of market research projects for companies if they're looking to explore their competitors in various countries across in different nations. If they're looking to go on trade missions, we help support that, as well as direct one-on-one assistance. As a matter of fact, our Mass Export Center 5 years ago won the National Award for Innovation Center and Excellence, went to the White House, and we're actually looked at as a model for other SBDCs to work collaboratively with SBA and other partners in the export arena.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Bob, back to you. Every small business, or most small businesses, they need help during their startup and even during their lifespan. How does the SBA, working with its state partners, provide counseling and training service?
It's extremely important that small businesses know that there are tremendous resources here in the Commonwealth to try to help them. They need to work with our partners so that they have a good, solid business plan. We want them to be successful. If you look at the stats that SBA has, small businesses that work with SBA resource partners, they're going to grow quicker, they're going to grow more jobs, they're going to grow profits. The stats absolutely point out that if they work with SBA partners, they're going to be more successful. So the SBA, we have the Small Business Development Center, which is a valuable partner of ours, but we also have the SCORE organization, and we have the Center for Women in Enterprise, which is located in Worcester and also here in Boston. We have a Veterans Business Center, which is up in Lawrence, Massachusetts, which actually covers all of New England. And together with the 4 different partners, we provide one-on-one technical assistance, workshops. We really spend as much time as the small business needs on a multitude of activities, whether it's startup questions, whether it's marketing, whether it's tax help. And we're here, and it's all free of charge. And a lot of people out there don't know of the resources that are available. So getting that message out is extremely important.
Who should talk a little bit more about the SCORE program and what that is and how that operates?
Like the Small Business Development Center, the SCORE organization is made up of volunteers. It's a national organization. It used to be that they were mostly all retired executives. Right now, probably 50-50. They're either existing business owners who just want to volunteer and give back, or they're retired business executives. They've done it, they've experienced it, they serve as mentors, and they're not paid staff, they're volunteers, and I can tell you that over the last several years, I've seen a tremendous increase in the talent and the level of expertise that SCORE provides. And like the SBDC, it's free, businesses can keep coming back and back, and a lot of small businesses, they develop real long-term relationships with these mentors that help them for years and years and years.
And that's so important. Now, what if somebody is watching and they've had this past experience and they want to volunteer with SCORE? What should they do?
They can call the SBA office, or they can go onto the Massachusetts website. They can go onto the SCORE organization's website, which is www.score.org. Talk to any of us that work for the SBA, and we can put the small business owner in touch with the right people.
You mentioned that the counseling and the assistance is all free, and that it's also one-on-one. You have the opportunity for face-to-face, and I think so many people appreciate that. But I know as well, in doing some research for today's conversation, that an awful lot of opportunity is offered online. What kinds of training do you offer folks online?
Sure. Some people are working a 40-hour job. They just can't get away to spend some time that it takes to meet with a business advisor. We have a lot of online classes, from starting a business to financing a business, how to market your services or your products. They should go onto SBA's website, which is sba.gov/training, and that will get them into the training modules, and they can explore whether it's podcast or traditional workshops that they can take their time and go through at their leisure from their home or a library or wherever they have internet access.
Well, we've been talking an awful lot about the services and assistance that the SBA provides to small business here in Massachusetts, and we actually had an opportunity to go out and visit one of those small businesses located in Waltham, Massachusetts, Interior Stone and Tile, that actually has received a loan from SBA over $2 million. So let's hear directly from that small business.
I'm here with Joe McCarthy. He's the principal of Interior Stone and Tile in Waltham. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with the SBA and what SBA did to provide assistance over the years?
Sure. We started Interior Stone back in January of 2001, and in my first dealing with the SBA, we used them in 2008, and that was a time in which we used the financing to buy out my business partner, so take 100% control of Interior Stone. And then again in 2011, we went to the SBA when it was time to refinance our property and our building here on Lexington Street. And very easy to deal with, quick, easy, financing went great, and that's allowed us to free up capital to work on our day-to-day operations.
How about number of employees? How many employees do you have, and have you seen employee growth?
Right now we have 40 full-time employees, and over the last 2 years we've seen about a 25 to 30% increase in growth.
Okay, great. The process as far as getting an SBA loan, how was it with BDC New England?
They were great to work with, very easy. They got the whole process done in less than 2 months. Just very straightforward. A couple applications to fill out, and they were great with pushing everything through for us.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I've worked in federal government a few years, and I know that whenever we are doing any sort of a significant procurement, there is always consideration given to small businesses. Tell folks a little bit about what that consideration looks like, and if somebody is a small business and they're looking to get government work, how do you do that?
Like exporting, government procurements and government sales, it's just another opportunity for small businesses to increase revenues and increase profits. But like exporting, you need to know what you're doing if you're going to be successful in government sales. And so we have resources through the Small Business Development Center and the Procurement Technical Assistance Center that can help small businesses to explore government sales, and that can be federal, state, or local. But the thing that you need to keep in mind is that the federal government probably buys over $500 billion of goods and services, from pens to jet engines to IT services, and 23% of all of those government buys are supposed to go to small business. And so the SBA, we're here to make sure that small business gets its fair share of those government contracts.
So by a small business person, somebody thinking about starting a small business, somebody starting a small business, reaching out to you, you're sort of one-stop shopping. You connect them with all of the support services that are out there and available.
We do. We're like an air traffic controller, where we put ourselves out there that we want to be the Commonwealth small business resource, and we have connections and relationships with people all over the Commonwealth, and we can best connect people so that they can get the services that they need.
Excellent. Ray, you've been very patient listening.
Yes.
You are a Marine Corps veteran.
Yes, I am.
And you are the SBA's guy for dealing with our nation's veterans and assisting them when it comes to small business. So
Correct.
talk about what your role looks like.
Right. My role for veterans, I'm the Veteran Business Outreach Specialist for the SBA. So So my role, as Bob said, air traffic controller, I call it a super connector. So when a veteran's looking to grow their business or start their business, they need someone to guide them. So they'll usually give me a call, and I hook them up with the resources that best apply to their situation, whether it's a financing program like the Patriot Express, which is for veterans, their spouses, and their widows, whether it's the Military Reservist Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which is for veterans that own businesses but are in the Guard or Reserve and get deployed. So imagine owning a business and you're getting deployed several times over a span of 8 to 10 years. Is there a program to help them out with that? And this is a disaster loan program to help keep that business running during that time, or provide assistance once they get back to get them up to speed, if something happens to the business. It's also for employers that employ Guard members and reservists. If they have a large cadre of Guard member reservists on their staff and they get deployed and they have some management or technical expertise that keeps that business running, this program will help them keep their business running while their staff gets deployed. So it helps them, because a lot of people think you're a Guard member reservist, you're going to get deployed several times over the next few years. Is that a disincentive to hiring? And this is a program that says, no, we're there to help you, keep that business running while your staff gets deployed.
So I was aware of the services that you just described for the veteran, but I didn't realize that you also provided those support services to a small business when their staff member is away.
Yes, definitely.
Serving our nation.
Correct, and you're right, and this is one of the programs that isn't well publicized. The public really doesn't understand what's there, and that's my job, to make sure we're out there, we're outreaching through the resource partners, through the businesses, through the veterans, so they can bring that to their employer and they understand. I do a lot of the transition assistance programs at Hanscom Air Force Base. I do all the transition assistance program monthly at Hanscom. I do it quarterly at Fort Devens. I do all the yellow ribbon reintegration programs, whether it's a post or pre-mobilization. We'll do a seminar on small business strategy, so we get these programs out into the public.
So Bob mentioned here in Massachusetts we have a center in Lawrence.
We do.
Talk about that center.
We're lucky. We have a center that's funded partially through the SBA. The Veteran Business Outreach Center. The real name for them in Lawrence is the Northeast Veteran Business Resource Center. And this is an organization that serves New England. We're lucky to have one. There's only about 12 in the United States. So we're lucky to have one here in Region 1. And this is an organization, again, that veterans can go to, and they could get help with government contracting issues mainly. They could get help with business plan assistance, financial assistance. A lot of times they'll refer them out back to the SBA or back to one of our resource partners like the SBDC.
And how long have you had this particular role at the Small Business Administration?
I took over the Veteran Business Resource role in August of 2008, so it's been about 4 years. And I actually transferred from the regional office back to the district, almost specifically to do veteran outreach. We saw the need. A lot of the veterans are coming back, transitioning out, Guard members, reservists. And we saw a large uptick in veterans either wanting to grow their business or start a business, whether it's a franchise or a service industry or a product industry.
So do you track the number of veterans that you're serving here in Massachusetts through the Small Business Administration? What do those numbers look like?
We do. Actually, we were talking about numbers. We were actually number 3 in loans, SBA loans to veterans last year in the entire country, which was great. We're actually in the top 10. We're about number 8 this year. But as far as number of veterans serviced, I did it last year. I serviced about 800 veterans looking for assistance last year. And that's direct, whether they call me, they do a walk-in, they send me an email. And I try to do face-to-face meetings with every veteran that reaches out to me.
Now, do you interact with Georgiana's office?
I do. I do a lot of referrals. I think of myself as, again, a super connector. So the veteran comes to me, and if they need, business plan development or financial projections or cash flow analysis, I could reach out to the SBDC and our resource partners and say, here's a direct resource in your area. We like to say we have a resource partner within the state within 30 minutes of anybody in the state.
Wow.
So, and that really helps out. And our resource partners will train, in person, online, via the phone, anyway. So it makes it convenient for everybody.
So what is the best way for a veteran to get in touch with you?
The best way is to give me a call. My direct number is 617-833-3673. You give me a call, I'll set up a face-to-face meeting. I'll come to them, they can come to me, and we'll lay it out. We'll put together a roadmap and talk about next steps and what resources are there and where they are in the process.
Excellent. So Bob, how long have you been with the SBA?
Been with the SBA about 15 years.
And how did you come to work for the SBA?
Before the SBA, I worked for the FDIC, and I was also a commercial lender doing SBA deals. So when you look at the FDIC experience and the commercial lending experience, it translates well into what we do at the SBA. Absolutely love working for the SBA and SBA's mission. It's a fantastic agency. We get to see our impacts daily. If you drive around the street, you can see businesses almost on every corner who have received SBA assistance. It's just a tremendously rewarding place to work.
So now, what about a business, they didn't come to you when they had the vision and they were thinking about their startup. They didn't come to you when they first thought they needed some help or whatever. They're now in a desperate time. Can you still help?
We can try to help. If you think back to what we experienced in 2008 when the credit markets froze, banks weren't making loans. There were days and sometimes weeks where not a single SBA loan was being done. Businesses were absolutely frightened and afraid. And the SBA, we set up economic crisis hotlines, and we've received phone calls from all across the state from small businesses needing triage, emergency triage per se. And there are some businesses that we were able to help, but it's important that if a small business is having issues that they work with resource partners, contact the SBA as early as possible so that we can try to do things. Within the SBA loan programs, there is some flexibility. Small businesses, they can ask for payment deferments. They can ask for modifications of terms so that they can repay their debts. We're here to try to ensure success for small business, but some situations, unfortunately, they're beyond hope.
So the message is sooner is better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, Georgiana, Bob mentioned that all of these resources offered by the federal government, all of the counseling, and again, a lot of that is done through the partners, but it's free. Is everything offered through your office free?
All of our in-depth one-on-one mentoring, business assistance is free. A client will make contact. We have a confidential client request for counseling form that is SBA driven. They come in, we'll meet with them. One of the aspects that Bob had mentioned and Ray had mentioned is about the 30-minute face-to-face access. The way the SBDC is structured, we have 33 outreach offices across the state at chambers of commerce, various economic development groups, and banks to give companies and individuals that opportunity. As far as the training, we do charge sometimes some nominal fees. That's usually to produce materials for the clients, but it is not a money-making proposition. Usually all the services are free, confidential, and one aspect I'd like to make again and emphasize is that we are all collaborators. When a business comes in, usually they don't know if it's an SBA resource or an SBDC resource or veterans resource. They're coming in, and our goal collectively is to help them survive. And survival may mean restructuring your business. It may be helping you close your business because it's not feasible. We were talking about the past couple of years, about a third of our clients were in the arena where it just wasn't feasible. They were overextended, they couldn't make payments or payroll, inventory wasn't there, market wasn't there. So it's all of those items collectively. One aspect we've seen that has changed, we do see some confidence in business owners coming back. Right now, I'd say about 35 to 40% of our clients looking for financing their various SBA products. Most of our clients are under 20 businesses, even though Bob mentioned that 98% of the businesses in Massachusetts are small. Predominantly, they're in the 20 to 50 employee range, and we see all of them between SBA and our resource partners.
Small business has always been the backbone of our, our country. Now, how did you come to be in your position?
I came into my position, my former position was working for a dean out of the Eisenberg School of Management. I had mentioned that the SBDC program as a collaboration, federal government, state government, and the university structure, and as well as the private sector. And I was involved with 3 or 4 other programs. When the SBDC program emerged and got larger, I had an interest. I liked it because you never know what you'll encounter each day. And everybody in SBA and all of our partners are very passionate. That's one thing we all have in common. We believe in small business. We'll do whatever needs to be done to help them survive.
And
so
that's nice.
fine.
I liked what you said about the person being served, the small business person being served.
Right.
Doesn't even necessarily know where that assistance is coming from because you work so closely,
Right.
so collaboratively, and the mission just is to help them,
That's right.
and however that might occur.
That's right. And all of our
Nice.
motto is the client comes first. We'll do whatever
Sure.
it takes. Sometimes it might not be what they envision when they
Right.
come in, but we mentor them to the best of our ability. The other aspect, if you look at all of our programs, I envision it's kind of like a 6-tier glass chessboard. Everything is interconnected. Not one of us in the room or one program makes a business successful. It's a collaboration. It's a collaboration with the federal government and their programs. Sometimes it could be a state program or a local program with resources. And it's that passion and knowledge that makes them succeed.
So for the person out there thinking, should I be starting my own business, or for the small business owner that might need some assistance, what should they do? What's the best way for them to make that initial contact?
One of the things I suggest that they do is go onto the Massachusetts SBA website, which is sba.gov/MA. On that website, they'll find an event calendar. We do, with the SCORE organization, have a Do I Want to Be an Entrepreneur workshop that they do every month in Boston, and they do it at the chapters across the state. But on that event calendar, they'll find all of the different workshops that are taking place across the state. But they'll also find our contact information and ways to connect with the SBDC and SCORE and the Women's Center so that they can start brainstorming and figuring out what they want to do.
Okay, so what haven't I asked? This is for all of you. What haven't I asked that you think the folks at home watching need to know?
Well, I'd just like to add that, our job is, as what was mentioned before, it's not about who provides the service, it's that the service gets provided. And something that people don't realize a lot, it's about, the knowledge transfer and the networking. So, we know which lenders are lending to startups, to lending to veterans, to women, minorities, to retail, to manufacturing, to restaurants. And that's knowledge we have at our fingertips. So we have those direct referrals. We know which counselors are experts in financial projections or marketing or social media. And so it's that collective knowledge where we can get the person and save them. Our goal is to save them time, money, and heartache.
Well, and that is such a good point to have made, because even if somebody's thinking they can do this on their own, why would they?
Right.
Why would they not come to the source who really knows where all of these resources are, and just make it easier for themselves?
Right.
Here in Massachusetts, I get often asked, how come we're so successful in Massachusetts with the delivery of our loan programs? We have a lot of credit unions who have signed on to be SBA lenders over the last couple of years. Probably 150 different lenders make loans, SBA loans here in the Commonwealth. A lot of community banks have signed on to be SBA lenders and have been reinvigorated in the SBA programs over the last couple of years in order to help drive capital into the hands of small business. I do want to put in one other plug for our other loan program, which is called the 504. And under the 504, it's used to buy a piece of real estate or to temporarily refinance their existing owner-occupied commercial real estate mortgage. And under SBA's 504 program, the funds are raised through the sale of debentures with the full faith backing of the federal government, so it tends to be below market pricing. And right now, with rates the way they are, the interest rate on a 504, it's fixed for 20 years, fully amortizing, and it's less than 4.5% fixed.
We always co-market all of our services, and to enhance knowledge just of the lenders across the state, the SBDC holds lenders roundtables in each of our 6 regional offices. SBA is a participant as well as the bankers. At that point in time, they're also refreshed with all the new loan products, whether it be veterans loans, 504s, et cetera. So We're all in this together.
And you know, I'd be remiss, I'm here as the Veteran Business Outreach Specialist, but I'm also the Springfield branch manager. We do have an office in Springfield. So I'm responsible for all programs and services in the 4 Western Mass counties. So we have an office in Springfield. I'm the branch manager, so definitely reach out to us.
Excellent. Well, this has been great. I want to thank our guests for joining us and for helping us to better understand the work of the Small Business Administration and their role in helping Americans start, build, and grow businesses. I thank you for watching, and I hope that you will continue to join us as we feature other federal agencies on your federal government.